All right, let's look at two more examples here. In example letter C. So in this first one, we should understand that this matrix is a 3 by 3 size, and this matrix is a 3 by 1. So a 3 by 3 times a 3 by 1 is going to ultimately give us a 3 by 1 result. Let's see how this works. So we're going to go again from left to right in our first column, first row, and then top to bottom, looking at our column in our second matrix. So here we go. 3 times 3, then we move. Plus 2 times -2, plus -1 times 0. Close bracket. That's going to be our 1 entry in our new matrix once we simplify this expression. All right, moving on to the second row in this first matrix, still times this only column that exists. So what does that give us? 4 times 3, then we move. Negative plus a -1 times -2, and then plus 0 times 0. Moving on to the third and final row. So -5 plus, guess what? 3 again. Just like I told you in the previous example, it's always going to happen. And then what? Plus 2 times, guess what? -2. And then finally, plus 1 times 0. Yes. All right, so our final result here would be what? That's 9 minus 4 plus 0, that's 5. And then we have 12 plus 2, that's 14. Then we have -15 minus 4, right? -15 plus a -4 plus 0, that's -19. So there's your product for the first example. Let's go ahead and look at the second example. So this size is what? This is a 2 by 2, and this is a 2 by 3. So our resulting size will be a 2 by 3. I'm going to go ahead and put this below here. So here we go. 2 by 3 is going to be the resulting size. So first thing is to do 1 times 1. And then we're going to do what? Add that to 3 times 3. The result of this will be our first new entry in our product. Finished with this first column, moving to the second column, staying with the same row. You got to stay with the same row until you run out of columns. So leave a little bit of a space. Then you're going to do 1 times 3 plus 3 times 0. And leave a little bit of a space. Move on to the final column. 1 times 0 plus 3 times 2. And then close bracket. All right, finish with row number 1. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. Okay, moving on to row number 2. So we do -1 times 1. Then we do plus 2 times 3. Notice again, these values in parentheses are always going to be the same. Moving on to the 2, 2 entry. That's going to be what? -1 times 3. And then 2 plus 2 times 0. And then finally, -1 times 0. We knew that was going to happen. Plus 2 times 2. And again, we knew that was going to happen. All right, so our result here, when we simplify all of this, would be what? This would be 1 plus 9, or 10. This would be 3 plus 0, which is 3. This would be 0 plus 6, which is 6. There's your first row. And then we do -1 plus 6, which is 5. We do -3 plus 0, which is -3. And finally, we do 0 plus 4, which is 4.